Good morning, guys. It's Kevin here from Tranquility Escapes. Today we are working, and it is the middle of February. We normally aren't working right now, but we've been waiting to do this project for a really long time, and for some reason this backyard is always sopping wet. So now that it's frozen, we can get this big machine in here because we got an awesome project ahead of us. We're going to be doing a trio of boulders, and when I say a trio of boulders, we're not just doing any small boulders. We have a 1, 2, and 3 ton boulder going in here. That's why we have this big machine right behind us. We got some big straps, and we're going to spend a full day of core drilling. And as I'm filming this, I hear our boulders coming right now. I got our boulders delivered, but this boulder over here has to be all about 3 tons because this machine is a Cat 308, like I said. This machine has a lifting capacity of about 7,400 pounds. It could barely pick up that rock. And when I mean barely, we were picking it up and the machine was constantly dropping it if we weren't holding back the joystick to keep lifting it. So setting this one's gonna be interesting. But we just got this one strapped up. We have it on our bricks down below. This is gonna be how it's gonna be sitting in the reservoir. So we're gonna get our 4x6 right over there. This has a little hole in it, and that's going to be the pilot for our core drill. So we're going to strap that up over here and then start drilling this one out. And then hopefully in about 2-3 hours, this one's done and we'll move on to the next one. We have this one over here, which is going to be our tallest boulder. This is all about 1.5-2 tons right here. And our smallest boulder right over here. You do have to be super careful with this boulder. You can see there is a hairline fracture going down here. We are working with natural materials, so these things do happen, but we have to drill kind of behind the crack to get water where we want it. Hopefully this does not split off, because if it does, that means we're throwing out this boulder, getting a new one for this project. Took us a while to find these boulders. The client has a very specific look in mind, so he wants a lot of blues and grays, absolutely no tans in these rocks. So finding any type of boulders like this was tedious because we do have a lot of Long Island boulders and moss rock on the island over here, so a lot of it has tans. So finding these boulders wasn't the easiest thing to do, especially during the winter where deliveries aren't made as often. So we have to be super careful with that hairline crack, but we're going to start drilling these. All right, guys, so right over here is our first boulder. We're about an hour and a half in. Boulder number 1's complete. This hammer drill is a necessity if you're ever trying to do bubbling boulders. So as you can see over here, we have one of these core drills. This right here is what we're core drilling out of the boulder. So you can see we have about a 1 foot piece. We have a couple of more pieces that came out of this boulder right back here. But this is what takes so long. So it's about an hour and a half to drill this boulder. Depending on the density of the boulder you have, it can be anywhere from an hour to, it might take you half a day to drill it out. So we typically use 1 drill bit per rock, just to speed up things a little bit, because if we use 1 drill bit for all 3 rocks, I would be here probably for 2 days. But using a brand new drill bit speeds things up because these rocks are very dense. They tend to wear down these drill bits very fast. So right here we have our core drill. We have 2 extensions. Each one is about 1 foot long, and then we have the drill bit. This whole contraption is pretty big right here. It gets pretty serious, and this thing packs a serious punch. If you're not careful with this drill and this thing catches a rock, this thing will spin really hard and take you out. So if you see in the time lapse, I have this almost against my leg because I'm trying to fight the drill the whole time. It's usually pretty smooth, but if this thing catches, this hose will rip off. The extension cord unplugs itself, thankfully, but you have to be super careful with this. On top of that, we have a rock shimmed up on a pallet. Anytime you're messing with boulders, you have to be super careful, especially with a 3 ton boulder. If this thing rolls over or falls, you don't want to be underneath that thing. All right, so this is going to be the location for our bubbling boulders. So underneath this plywood, he has a large family of dogs that he has, and this is going to be more of a memorial garden to kind of remember his older dogs. So he recently had one of his dogs pass away, so this is where he's buried. So we're going to be building a memorial garden right kind of in the front area over here. The splash pad will be about like an 18 by 18, 20 by 20 area. We're going to be using some large boulders, and it's going to be 3 bubbling boulders right over here. We're going to have an adjustable pump so he can adjust the flow in this. We're going to have lights in here, and then at the end, this is all going to be landscaped off. Now Rob's laying out the footprint of where our splash pad is going to be. This is not actually the reservoir. Our reservoir is going to be about a 7 by 9 right in the middle of this. This is going to be where our rocks, gravel, and the trio boulders go kind of right in the middle of this. We do have to be really careful. We have some lights in here where we have line voltage, we have irrigation, and we just found out that right about here is going to be a propane line. So there's a gas line that runs to the front yard down there. There's a 3,000 pound propane tank down there, and its line runs right down here, and that runs the generator and the gas heater for the pool. So right now we have our reservoir excavated. We have everything raked out. We've picked out all the small rocks. We've tamped it, leveled it out. We have a slight pitch going to where Rob is. Rob's doing the vault right now, leveling that out. And then the next step is basically we're going to get our geotextile fabric. We're going to come in here and lay that first, layer liner, which is a EPDM 45 mil liner. And then we're going to come on top with the second piece of fabric. And then we're going to put our aqua blocks in, flip everything inside like a burrito basically, and then take all the spoils of our excavation and use that as backfill. We're going to be mindful not to use the grass pieces because we don't want that decomposing under the liner and settling in the future. Once that's done, we're going to take the rest of the spoils and kind of build a little swale around this area, because where you guys are standing right now is a low spot, and it likes to accumulate water during the summer because it gets very swampy back here. It's a lot of clay. So what we're going to do is kind of build a little berm in the front of the reservoir. That way, when it rains, no water actually goes towards here. It all goes away. We don't want any runoff really in here. That can cause algae buildup as well as problems with the reservoir in the future. So we're going to build a little small berm around this whole thing, kind of raise it up above grade, and then the fun part, we're going to start strapping some boulders. We have the excavation for the reservoir. Rob's currently battling some lighting over here. We have some electrical wires running from that light over there to this one over here. We have irrigation all the way down there as well, and right over there. Thankfully, it's just at the excavation depth we need, but we have to get this wire out, pulled over here so the electrician can re-tie everything back in with junction boxes. that's a wrap on this project. It's the end of day 3. We are completely wrapped up with this job. The only thing we have to come back for is to get that excavator out. We're in the middle of February, but we've had a very warm week, so we were able to get the machine in at the perfect time. The ground was frozen. We didn't rut out any of the lawn back here because we do have about a 300-foot run to the driveway. So we got lucky with that. Unfortunately, with the warm weather, everything is super soggy because the ice is melting. So we're gonna come back for that. So we're just gonna leave our plywood and machine here and then get that out on Monday. But the rest of the project's completely done. As you can see, these are some massive boulders. The one I'm sitting on right now is just over 3 tons. We have a Cat 308 on this job site, and that machine was struggling to get this boulder set. This boulder right over here, I would say it's probably close to 2 tons, and then we probably have a 1-ton boulder right there. So 3 rocks, a lot of weight. On this project, we did a blend of 1 to 3 inch, and then 3 to 6 inch larger cobbles, and then we accented with some moss rock around here to naturalize it. Normally the water feature would be running at the end of the project, but with this one, because they do have very large dogs and a lot of kids, and these are some very big rocks, these rocks are already super stable to begin with, how we shim them, but as a precaution, we did mortar the bases of all these rocks. So we're gonna let that cure for a day or so before we fire it up. So you guys might have seen on the time lapse, normally when we're building fountainscapes, we're trimming the liner along the edges, and you probably saw something weird that we were doing. We were folding in all of our liner into the reservoir. Normally we don't do that, and we oversized this liner by a lot. This liner was almost like a 25 by 30 when we put it in. This footprint is probably a 20 by 20, 18 by 18. It's pretty big. But the reason why we folded everything in is because the homeowner is planning on expanding this project in the future. So we're probably going to be adding more bubbling boulders as we move forward. To basically future-proof this project, what we did was we folded that liner in. Now, in the future, if we want to add something, we have 2 pump vaults. One is empty, so we can add extra pumps. And then we can take this gravel out, unroll that liner, add some more features, basically regrade this area and kind of rebuild it and extend this project forward. So if you ever think you're going bigger with your project, just let us know in advance. We can always do some future proofing with your project, and then doing things like that where, you know, we don't have to worry about seaming liners or shingling liners or doing anything like that. We can kind of just unroll it. It's one piece of liner still, and you're good to go. Anyways, that's a wrap on this project. This was a great project. It's actually my 28th birthday, and there's nothing else I'd rather be doing than building with my brother, building awesome projects. We get to do this for a living, so we're blessed to say that we love what we do. Anyways, I'm tired. I'm gonna go back home, relax, enjoy the rest of my day. You guys get to enjoy these beauty shots.